Home Alone is directed by Chris Columbus and stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and is written and produced by John Hughes. Kevin McAllister is a little boy living in a big family. As they prepare for a trip to Paris, Kevin feels overlooked and unappreciated. After a heated argument with his mother, Kevin makes a wish.
I wish they would all just disappear.
The following morning, after a series of circumstance and confusion, Kevin's wish seemingly comes true, and he is left home alone for Christmas, and must deal with the consequences that follow. Man, I've gotta say, it is really crazy to be reviewing this film and coming face to face with yet another footprint in my childhood. I don't know, what do you think? Are we ready for another segment of real childhood story time with Joe?
That's a good idea.
Of course it's a good idea. Cue the music. So guys, we all have those movies that we grew up with. I'm talking about that list of good and bad films that helped shape us into who we are now. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Home Alone amongst them for me. I mean, by all accounts, I was Kevin McAllister growing up. I was the youngest in my family with 2 older siblings until I was about 11 or 12. So I think it makes sense to say that there are few kids on the screen that I related to as much as Macaulay Culkin in this film. Youngest child complexes, blonde, cute, and an affinity for talking to oneself in the mirror, which, by the way, watching now kind of makes me feel like he was the original YouTuber.
I took a shower washing every body part with actual soap, including all my major crevices, including in between my toes and in my belly button, which I never did before but sort of enjoyed. I can't seem to find my toothbrush, so I'll pick one up when I go out today. Other than that, I'm in good shape.
Macaulay Culkin. We were pretty adorable back then. What happened to us? Just kidding. Actually, have you guys seen recent photos of this guy? He looks really healthy. It actually makes me very happy for him. You're looking good, sir. Keep it up. There may be hope for me yet. Anyway, so with this film comes a true recipe for Christmas family magic. You have first writer-producer John Hughes, who has directed some of the best teen films to come out of the 80s, and well, ever really. I mean, let's face it, practically every other teen film to come out since then has been trying to emulate this man's vision of youth. And who can blame them? There's always such an authentic feel in his films because one of his ongoing themes is that it's never just the kids and it's never just the parents. Part of the growth in family is understanding that understanding is a two-way street. It's evident in The Breakfast Club with the students and their parents, Uncle Buck with the daughter and her mother, and it's evident here most clearly with Kevin and his mother. The reason we keep coming back to these films is because these central themes are so applicable to us, and because we've all been there with our families. And speaking of Uncle Buck, John Candy does make a cameo in Home Alone as a Good Samaritan.
Polka, 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 polka. No?
Now, while the writing is essential, you need somebody who's going to be able to capture the vision intended. This may have been one of his earlier bouts as a director, but Chris Columbus would go on to do this film's sequel, Mrs. Doubtfire, and of course the first 2 Harry Potter films. And I think it's accurate to say that this film captures both the aspects of family and the magic of Christmas. Next you have the cast. Macaulay Culkin, while his acting as a child is questionable at times, is nevertheless perfectly cast. He is the embodiment of every child who has ever held a grudge against his family and fought off criminals in consequence. Yep. Then of course there's Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, who are an inspired team of no-good crooks who are plotting to rob Kevin's house while his parents are away. Pesci is more of the brain of the outfit, leaving Stern as the more pure comic outlet, and what follows will be gold for the kiddies watching. In fact, it's even worth saying that these two are every bit as entertaining to watch for kids as Culkin is. Whether it's just the shenanigans or the hilarious discussions they have as they plot their next moves, These two go a long way to tie the movie together as a whole. Finally, you have the musical score done by John Williams, which is up there amongst some of his finest works in my opinion. Where do I start with this film score? The man has captured worlds from Star Wars to Harry Potter, so it should come as no surprise that there is no composer better suited to capture the world of Christmas, and John Williams does. These are the themes of Christmas for kids, and they so fully encapture the spirit, the joy, and the fun of this season. Now we discuss some specific aspects of the story, which, without delivering too many spoilers, are largely successful. Most of the story feels very relevant and works, with the exception of a shoplifting scene, which feels somewhat shoehorned in and I feel doesn't serve the plot very much. There's also some of the choices that the crooks make in the finale when logic really starts to stretch. The kids will love it, and the adults will find some laughs too, but they're also going to be wondering why these nincompoops... Did I just say nincompoops? Alright, nincompoops, whatever. But why they keep falling into Kevin's traps. And additionally, how it's all resolved is a bit too convenient. It's all good fun though, and there are still glittering gems here. For one, I actually admire the fact that the film respectfully maintains both the magical aspects of Christmas as well as some of the more religious undertones. The scene in the church is particularly touching and really elevates the film to a new level, brief though the moment may be. It excels at delivering complex messages about family to kids, and I can personally speak to this because this was one of those early films that actually got me thinking, and I think for any child, that in and of itself is saying something. Where the movie closes is also very, very well done and is perfectly suitable, ending on a note that is both amusing and reflective of the true messages of Christmas. Home Alone is rated PG for slapstick violence, some language, and some crude humor. There is a lot of fun to be had in Home Alone, and there's a reason it continues to endure. While it might not be your first choice this year, it very well could be your second. I am giving Home Alone a 4.5 out of 5.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this review added something to your holiday season, and I just wanted to say that you watching has added something to mine. So thank you again. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and don't forget, you're on Real Time with Joe. Do 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 do.